What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's been coming out from the company itself, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, the market is very optimistic. No actual data points today nor tomorrow, so it's going to be more of a technical driven day, and in Lucid's case, that's kind of good. So I'm going to talk about what that means. Market's been open roughly around 1 hour, 1.27% in the green, a lot of volatility, so 322 the high, 312 the low. It'll make a little bit more sense once I go over the technicals in a second, but 3.5 million shares have been traded so far. 40.06 is the average. So today is going to be a little bit low for the actual volume today. No actual news itself from the company, but there was this 8K that came out first thing this morning, and it is a kind of a lengthy document, so around 42 pages. But from my interpretation of this, because of the initial preferred, I think it was Class B share that was issued, and then more recently there was that second issuance of 750 million of the preferred B that was disclosed. I believe it even states on August the 16th right here. Ultimately, every time those conversions do happen, they have to register the shares. So it's kind of saying that it's not exempt from that. That's at least my interpretation of this. So I think it goes over in this document the original tentative agreement, so the conversions and whatever else. But ultimately, it does indicate that every time there is the shares issued, like they'll have to register the shares. So again, something to kind of consider. They do have that S3 that is still valid, so a lot of that could just be kind of done through there. So something to just be aware of. So yeah, in reality, I think this might confuse a lot of individuals, but it is kind of lengthy. I don't really want to start opening up Pandora's box and talking about this because I think you guys generally know my thoughts on this. I think that this is more of a poison pill, if you kind of want to think of it like that, from the PIF. Let's say if Lucid doesn't really get their crap together by 2026, 2027, this is where this conversion will dramatically destroy Lucid and give the PIF and its affiliates the kind of opportunity to really take Lucid over. That's just whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But beside the point, aside from the lack of news or anything like that, you did have this that was posted on Lucid's socials. And I really like this because it does show, and I think a lot of people maybe overlooked it, or maybe I just didn't catch on, but RJ, so CEO of Rivian, looks like he stopped by to take a look at the Gravity. I don't know if that would be an awkward kind of discussion or anything, because Peter's kind of outright said that their vehicle is better than Rivian's and there's no other comparison. So I don't know if that would have been an awkward conversation, but seems to be picture wise fair. Everyone's happy. Obviously you kind of have to be, but yeah, you know what, both companies I absolutely respect. I really like RJ's drive. I like Peter's passion for his technology. So it would be kind of crazy if somehow there was a strategic partnership between the two, because that would be that would be epic as hell. So I don't know. I think this is just pretty good stuff for, once again, I think just the fact that RJ is actually checking Lucid out in this fashion kind of speaks volumes that Lucid is a head turner. That's how I see things, of course. So aside from all of that though, it is that time of season. So you are seeing a lot of 13F, so a lot of disclosures to the SEC. Kind of mixed, so you have some increasing, some selling. Jane Street recently did reduce around 78% of their puts, so generally that is very optimistic. They also increased 41% in their actual common stock. So once again, that is very bullish. You have this right here, this 𝗪𝗧 asset did make a brand new position of 10.8 million. PIF, we already do know, didn't really do anything. Their affiliates did, but they didn't. So yeah, I think in general, this is very good stuff. No new analyst ratings, nothing like that today. As far as shorts, still, they're very stubborn and doubtful about Lucid being green today, and probably just the broader market. So they are increasing 1.15 million shares. 27.82% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 249.67 million. So for those of you that obviously are looking for the rest of the week, so you have a lot of data points kind of mid part. So the FOMC meeting minutes. You also have initial jobless claims. a lot of that is going to really propel Lucid and just the market higher, assuming everything goes according to plan. So I think right now Lucid had a lot of good things going for it, one of which is its technicals. And right now, I've brought this up in the past, typically you do need 2 consecutive days to really signal a trend. And as of right now, it is above that 50-day moving average. And generally, that 50-day moving average is a big deal for Lucid, as what we've seen over pretty much the whole time span of Lucid ever since 2021. Whenever it does get above that 50-day moving average, big things do come. And it's only been above that 50-day moving average roughly around 3 times. So you had this rumor right here in 2023 about Lucid being taken private. It just escalated. And not only that, because of it staying above that 50-day, it was able to kind of hover and stay around that $13 to $11 range. So yeah, I think if Lucid does continue on and we have some good data later this week, this is where you could see a retest of that $4 range. But as of right now though, with it at $3.20, it is trading between this pivot and this R1. So 312 was the low like I mentioned, and that is that pivot right here. So we do know that's a very strong support going forward, so generally a good thing. $3.27 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Over the last several trading days, Lucid has shown a lot of signs that it does want to break out. So again, something to kind of consider. Going over options, 121,000 in calls, 34,000 in puts. So dollar value is kind of high for it being open within, like I said, 1 hour. So I think a lot of money is getting into Lucid through options, not necessarily through common stock, so something to just be aware of. But 59% of all the options being done so far today are bearish. So clearly anticipating a little bit more of a downtrend. Of the call options that are being purchased, you do see consensus for it to be above $3.50 / $4. And then looking at puts, very little dollar value for that, but it looks like sub maybe around $2.50. Give or take, kind of extreme stuff, or maybe around 3. But in my opinion, I think there is still a lot more upside versus down. So what is your thoughts on Lucid? And what's your thoughts? Do you think that there's something more symbolic or something behind this? Maybe a deal coming? Because Peter has stated numerous companies that they're working with for licensing. I think one we already do know is Hyundai. Other one, you can speculate, could be Ford, could be someone else. It could be a very small player as well, just as long as they're willing to pay money or at least give in exchange Lucid some utility. I think it's still beneficial. So what's your thoughts on this? Have you been buying? Have you been selling? And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Link to this is in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.